Hello, I'm Nakia Basharuddin and this is Nightline, news making the headlines. MACC to reopen cold case files early next year. Najib Razak's corruption trial, SRC's loan applications to KWAP made before the appointment of directors. And 30th SEA Games lower its curtains, Malaysia wrap-up campaign in 5th. Welcome. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, will reopen cold case files involving the public interest early next year. Its Chief Commissioner, Latifah Koya, said the Commission had received complaints regarding high-profile cases which were closed despite clear evidence.
Ya, so kes-kes yang kami sebut adalah kes-kes yang bersifat profil tinggi. Sudah tentu sebab ianya yang menyebabkan ada kepentingan awam. Jadi berlakunya sesuatu rasuah dan kenapa ianya telah dikatakan tutup ataupun NFA dan sebagainya, kami perlu ada satu jawapan yang jelas. Kalau tidak, rakyat akan rasa bahawa SPRM tidak serius dalam siasatan mereka.
Memberikan ahli politik?
Saya tak boleh komen.
Okay.
She was met after taking part in Soal Rakyat program at Sri Pentas Bandar Utama, which was aired on TV3 on Wednesday night. Latifah said the MACC's probe would, among others, involve checking at what level the instruction was issued to close the case. To a question, Latifah said the cold cases are varied and did not necessarily involve leaders of the previous administration. On the enforcement of Section 17A of the MACC Act to enable prosecution of commercial organizations involved in corrupt practices, she said the new provision, which comes into effect from June next year, would protect the employees who are forced by their employers to offer bribes. Sultan Sharifuddin Idris Shah on Wednesday decreed that the people in the state must not let themselves be confused between historical facts and myths about the struggle of the Malayan Communist Party, MCP, to the extent of worshipping its leader. The Sultan of Selangor said the MCP's struggle was not based on the concept of forming an independent country which practices parliamentary democracy, even though they were said to have fought colonialism in Malaya. Sultan Sharifuddin, in his decree in conjunction with his 74th birthday, said the facts about MCP ideological struggle are historical facts that the people of today need to understand well so that they will not fall for the misleading facts.
Delta menyuruh kepada semua rakyat Delta untuk belajar sejarah secara mendalam tentang kedudukan negara dan mengetahui fakta sejarah yang sebenar. Rakyat di negara ini perlu tahu sejarah, kerana dari sejarah yang pernah dilalui oleh negara ini, kita boleh menjadikan fakta sejarah itu sebagai panduan kita bagi mencapai kehidupan yang lebih baik dan sempurna.
The ruler said by understanding historical facts, the people will be able to appreciate the huge sacrifices made by members of the security forces, either in the Royal Malaysia Police or the armed forces. This, he said, is especially during the communist insurgency in the 1940s to 1970s.
Di samping itu, ramai rakyat negara ini yang terdiri daripada kaum Melayu, Cina, India dan kaum-kaum lain juga turut terkorban akibat serangan pengganas komunis. Hidupan rakyat pada ketika itu sentiasa dalam ketakutan akibat serangan yang dilakukan oleh anggota Parti Komunis Malaya ini. Banyak perkampungan dan balai polis telah diserang dan rakyat dan anggota polis dibunuh dan diseksa oleh anggota Parti Komunis Malaya ini.
Meanwhile, Selangor Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Amaruddin Syari headed a list of 19 awards, honours and medal recipients in conjunction with the 74th birthday of the Sultan of Selangor, Sultan Sharifuddin Idris Shah. He was awarded the Darjah Kebesaran Sri Paduka Mahkota Selangor, which carries the title Datuk Sri. Vice-Chancellor of University Putra Malaysia, Professor Datin Paduka Setia Dr. Aini Idris, received the Darjah Kebesaran Datuk Setia Sultan Sharafuddin Idris Shah, which carries the title Datin Paduka Setia for Women. Leading the list of 9 recipients of the Darjah Kebesaran Datuk Paduka Mahkota Selangor, which carries the title Datuk for Men and Datin Paduka for Women, is Selangor Sharia Chief Judge Datuk Muhammad Adib Hussain. Among other DPMS recipients were Malaysian Ambassador to Sweden Datin Paduka Nur Ashikin Muhammad Taib, Deputy Chief of Royal Malaysian Navy Vice Admiral Datuk Abdul Rahman Ayub, and Selangor Water Authority Director Datuk Ir Hashim Osman. The ceremony was held at the Istana Alam Shah in Klang. This year, the state government received 2,268 applications, and of these, 958 were nominated for awards and titles. Out of the 958 nominees, only 19 individuals were selected to receive the Selangor awards and titles. The Independent Police Complaints of Misconduct Commission 2019 IPCMC bill needs to be improved before it can be tabled in Parliament. Home Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin said there are certain terms in the bill that needs to be looked into to ensure they are fair and just to all stakeholders.
Saya sendiri sebagai Menteri Dalam Negeri berpendapat masih ada ruang. Bukan bantahan itu sampai tak mau langsung. Tapi ada pasal-pasal tertentu dalam akta dan undang-undang yang terdapat difikirkan perlu dimaskinikan sampai ke satu peringkat dianggap dia lebih adil, lebih saksama dan selepas itu bolehlah dibawa semua ke Parlimen.
He was speaking to the media after launching a flood assistance mission to the East Coast in Putrajaya on Wednesday. Tan Sri Muhyiddin also expressed his hope that the fine-tuning of the IPCMC bill can be resolved before the upcoming Parliament session in March. The government has postponed the second and third readings of IPCMC to take into account the views of various stakeholders, including the police. The IPCMC bill was first tabled in Dewan Rakyat on July 18th. It was aimed at replacing the Enforcement Agency Integrity Commission to improve the integrity and capabilities of the police force. Now on to the Datuk Sri Muhammad Najib Tun Razak's SRC trial. Proposals to obtain a 3.95 billion ringgit loan from the Retirement Fund Incorporated, or KWAP, by SRC International Sundian Berhad were made before the company directors were formally appointed. Attorney General Tan Sri Tommy Thomas made the assertion through 7 documents relating to the appointment of 7 SRC directors, memorandum and articles of associations, as well as letters and emails on the 2 loan applications by SRC to KWAP. Based on the documents, Tan Sri Thomas suggested at the Kuala Lumpur High Court on Wednesday that SRC made the decision to apply for loans from KWAP in June and July 2011, while the Board of Directors were elected in August the same year. Datuk Sri Najib, however, replied that August was the month the directors were officially appointed. He said the names might have been proposed for the Board of Directors earlier. Datuk Sri Najib also admitted that the proposal for a government guarantee for SRC's 2 billion ringgit loan to the Cabinet in 2011 was hastened. He said this was due to investment opportunities awaiting the company in line with SRC's establishment for national interest. Tan Sri Thomas then asked the former Prime Minister why the loan applications from SRC to KWAP were rushed. Datuk Sri Najib testified that SRC was set up as a national strategy and it was supported by the Economic Planning Unit. He added that the company had investment opportunities, saying that this is why SRC's funding had to be approved. The former UMNO president was also questioned on what happened to the money given to SRC International and why it had been parked in Falcon Private Bank in Switzerland and Julius Baer Bank in Hong Kong, in which he replied that it was not his decision to park the money there. The hearing continues before Justice Muhammad Nazlan Muhammad Ghazali on December 18th. And now continuing on to the Dato' Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi's Yayasan Akal Budi trial. The former Deputy Prime Minister had issued a 10 million ringgit cheque as a one-month loan to a company following a meeting that was arranged by his friend Dato' Sri Khalid Muhammad Jiwa, or better known as Dato' K. Armada Holdings Sdn Berhad CEO Dato' Wasi Khan alias Wasiyu Zama Israr said the company had in 2015 needed paid-up capital of 10 million ringgit in order to qualify to register as a bidder for a project to supply coal from Indonesia to energy producer Tenaga Nasional Berhad's TNB Fuel Services Sdn Berhad. Testifying at the Kuala Lumpur High Court on Wednesday, Dato' Wasi said as the company lacked such funds in its accounts, he had contacted his friends, including Dato' Sri Khalid, to ask if they could loan him the 10 million ringgit, but confirmed that none of them provided him with such funds. He said he had then sought Dato' Sri Khalid's help to arrange a meeting with Dato' Sri Zahid with hopes of seeking a reduction of the minimum required capital for the project from 10 million ringgit to 5 million ringgit. Dato' Wasi said Dato' Sri Khalid had agreed to help arrange the meeting, and the duo then went to meet the former Deputy Prime Minister at the Home Ministry in Putrajaya. In the meeting, which lasted around 20 minutes, the witness said the initial intention was to seek for Dato' Sri Zahid's opinion on whether the required paid-up capital could be reduced from 10 million ringgit to a lower rate. Dato' Sri Zahid, however, said he cannot interfere in TNB's affairs. Instead, he suggested making short-term financial arrangements. After a month from his first meeting with Dato' Sri Zahid, Dato' Wasi said the UMNO president had personally and verbally told him at Taman Tasik Titiwangsa to come to Parliament the next day, where he was given a 10 million ringgit cheque by an Affin Bank officer. Dato' Wasi said he had then met with Dato' Sri Zahid again after receiving the cheque, where the latter gave him a one-month period for the repayment of the 10 million ringgit loan. He also testified that Dato' Sri Zahid had not told him that the 10 million ringgit loan would come in the form of a cheque from charitable organisation Yayasan Akal Budi, but said he had discovered this after checking the details of the Affin Bank cheque dated November 16, 2015. Dato' Wasi revealed that he had then resolved to repay the 10 million ringgit along with a 4% interest from the bank for the fixed deposit. The 10 million ringgit cheque was deposited on December 7, 2015 into Armada Holdings' CIMB bank account. The trial before High Court Judge Colin Lawrence Sekera resumes on Thursday, with Dato' Wasi to be further cross-examined. Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim is ready to cooperate with police over investigations into the sexual misconduct allegation hurled against him by a former PKR research assistant. The PKR president also thanked police for expediting the probe into the case. In a statement uploaded on his Twitter account, Dato' Sri Anwar said he is ready to immediately provide a statement to facilitate police investigations into the allegations. He was responding to a statement by Bukit Aman Criminal Investigation Department Director Dato' Huzair Muhammad, who said police would be recording statements from Dato' Sri Anwar and other witnesses. The case is being investigated under Section 354 of the Penal Code for assault using criminal force to outrage the modesty of another person. Police have already recorded the statement of Muhammad Yusuf Rother, who made the accusation against the Port Dickson MP. Yusuf also lodged a police report on December 7th at the Sentul District Police Headquarters to enable the police to investigate his allegations. 3 days earlier, he had made a statutory declaration public alleging that he was sexually assaulted by Dato' Sri Anwar on October 2nd. Coming up after the break, luxury car theft gang crippled with arrest of 9 suspects. Details next. Welcome back. A total of 187 families who were affected by recent floods in the state received assistance from the Tabung Bencana Media Prima NSTP on Wednesday. The aid, in the form of food items and cash vouchers, was handed to the victims in a simple ceremony held at Tanah Merah District Council's Hall. Media Prima Berhad Group Corporate Communications General Manager Azlan Abdul Aziz presented a mock check of the items worth 37,400 ringgit to Tanah Merah Welfare Assistant Officer Ibrahim Mamat. Also present was Tanah Merah District Officer Muhammad Anis Hussein. Each family received items worth 200 ringgit, including food essentials such as biscuits, instant noodles, packed drinks, rice, cooking oils, as well as cleaning items like floor cleaners, brooms, pails, and detergents, as well as the vouchers. Also receiving aid were flood victims in Jeli. Police has crippled a luxury car theft gang dubbed Gang Ah Tiong with the arrest of 9 of its members in separate raids codenamed Ops Lejang. Kuala Lumpur District Police Chief Datuk Sri Mazlan Lazim said during the operation, police also seized 17 luxury vehicles believed to be worth about 5 million ringgit. The operation was carried out after a 68-year-old man reported that his car, a Toyota Velfire multi-purpose vehicle MPV, went missing in Taman Bukit Maluri, Kepong on November 6. Based on information received, police then conducted raids on November 25th to 28th, leading to the arrest of a man in Malacca. Further investigations led police to arrest 6 more men, a local woman, and an Indonesian man aged 25 to 53 from December 2 to 4th. The arrests include the 38-year-old leader of the group known as Ah Tiong.
Kereta mewah ni, kunci original nak buat bukannya pakai biasanya, bukan physical tu yang kita pakai tool semua tu nak buat. Kita kena sedut dulu data yang ada dalam kereta tersebut. Baru boleh kita buat kunci dia. Jadi dia sedut data itu, dia simpan dalam programmer ni yang kemudiannya ini digunakan untuk dia nak bagi pada ke siapa dia nak jual. Contohnya siapa dia nak jual, dia akan buat kunci baru mengikut programmer dan dia masukkan balik data kepada kereta tersebut dan terus kunci itu boleh digunakan untuk kereta tersebut.
During the raid, police also seized equipment used by the group to steal vehicles, including electronic key programmers. With the arrest, police believe they have solved 20 cases related to the gang in Kuala Lumpur, Selangor, Johor and Negeri Sembilan. In Terengganu, 500 foreign workers were inspected at the Kuala Terengganu City Centre KTCC project construction site, with at least 70 of them found to have committed immigration offences. Some workers even tried to flee during the integrated operation Wednesday morning. The Terengganu Immigration Department and the police said that among the offences were abusing social visit passes and not possessing legal documents. 6 foreign workers were then detained and taken to the Agil Immigration Detention Depot in Hulu Terengganu for further action. Police have recorded the statement of 2 witnesses regarding a Chinese vernacular school, SJKC, in Seremban, singing the national anthem, Negaraku, in the Mandarin language, and made arrangements to record the statements from other witnesses over the incident. The 2 witnesses were the Assistant Director of the Planning and Management Sector, District Education Office from the Negeri Sembilan Education Department, and the SJKC Headmaster. At the same time, police are also investigating the incident of the national anthem sung in the Arabic language, said to have occurred in a national school in Gurun, Kedah. The investigation papers on the 2 cases would be referred to Attorney General's chambers, together with the suggestions based on the outcome of the investigations.
Regrettably, the Gambia has placed before the court an
Still to come on Nightline, Aung San Suu Kyi defends Myanmar against Rohingya genocide accusations. Do stay with us. Now on to the foreign news. Myanmar leader Aung San Suu Kyi said the case brought against her country at the World Court was incomplete and misleading as she began her defense to accusations of genocide against the Rohingya Muslim minority on Wednesday.
Regrettably, the Gambia has placed before the court an incomplete and misleading factual picture of the situation in Rakhine State in Myanmar. Yet it is of the utmost importance that the court assess the situation obtaining on the ground in Rakhine dispassionately and accurately.
The Nobel Peace Laureate was speaking during 3 days of hearings at the International Court of Justice, challenging allegations in a lawsuit brought by Gambia last month, accusing Myanmar of violating the 1948 Genocide Convention. Suu Kyi, once feted in the West as a heroine of democracy, spoke for about 30 minutes at the courtroom in The Hague in defense of the actions of the Myanmar military, which he said did not constitute genocide. More than 730,000 Rohingya fled Myanmar to Bangladesh after the military launched a crackdown in western Rakhine state in August 2017.
Myanmar has a military justice system. Criminal cases.
U.S. President Donald Trump on Wednesday has tied the Democrats' decision to support the new U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, USMCA trade deal, to impeachment charges announced earlier in the day, accusing his rivals of supporting the deal to muffle down the impeachment news.
And the reason is they wanted to muffle down the impeachment because they're embarrassed by it and they couldn't get the votes. And that's exactly what happened.
He said this to reporters outside the White House on his way to a rally in Pennsylvania. Democrats in the U.S. House of Representatives announced impeachment charges against Trump on Tuesday, making him the fourth president in U.S. history to face a formal effort to remove him from office. The Democratic-controlled House is almost certain to vote to impeach the president as soon as next week. The effort to force Trump out of the White House, however, faces long odds of success, as at least 20 Senate Republicans would have to vote to remove him from office, and none so far have indicated they are considering such a move.